What you see on your screen are scenes from Örebro in Sweden. There was heavy deployment of police after the city witnessed Sweden's deadliest gun attack earlier this week. At least 11 people were killed and several others injured after a mass shooting incident in a school. Swedish police cordoned off the area around the school. Örebro is about 200 kilometers west of Stockholm, the capital of Sweden. Police received reports of a shooting that took place at 12:33 local time on Tuesday at campus Risbergska School. It's a type of school for adults known as komvux in Swedish. It is primarily for people who did not finish primary or secondary education. The campus where this adult education center is located also houses schools for children. So who was the attacker? The gunman has been identified as 35-year-old Rickard Andersson. He was unemployed. Police said the suspected attacker had a hunting license. They believe he acted alone and was among those found dead. Police believe the suspected gunman had killed himself. According to police, the attacker did not have any criminal record and no gang connection. Police said the motive behind the crime was not immediately known. The Swedish Prime Minister called the Örebro school attack the worst mass shooting in the country's history.
Today we have seen a brutal, deadly violence against completely innocent people. This is the worst mass shooting in Swedish history. There are still a lot of answers missing, and I can't give them the answers either. But there will come a time when we will learn what has happened, how it could happen, and what motives may have been behind it.
So what did the Swedish Prime Minister say? What motives could have been behind the attack? Sweden's police is looking into that. After the attack, speculation over the angle of crime has been rife. This is because the attack took place at an adult education center. Many students in Sweden's adult education system are immigrants who want to improve their basic education, get a degree, and learn Swedish to help them find a job in Sweden. But police have so far ruled out the possibility of any ideological or terrorist motive behind the attack.
We still believe that we have the primary perpetrator, although we do not rule out others with connections. He is not yet known to the police and has no connection to any gang. What we believe is that it's a lone perpetrator. At present, we do not believe that there is any terrorist motive behind it.
The apartment you see on your screen is where the suspected attacker allegedly lived. Police searched the apartment for further investigation. Reports say the family of the suspected attacker described him as a lonely man who had limited contact with his family for many years. The ordeal of the attack was terrifying. Gunshots rang out at the school. Teachers and students desperately ran from their classrooms or locked themselves inside. There were a few gunshots at the beginning, then there was a brief pause, and then started a continuous chain of gunfire. People who survived saw people being pulled away, injured. Listen to some of the survivors.
A guy next to me was shot in the shoulder. He was bleeding a lot. When I looked behind me, I saw 3 people on the floor bleeding. Everyone was shocked. They said, "Get out, get out." I and my friend tried to save the life of this person. People were very shocked. The police were not on site and neither was the ambulance. So we had to help. I took my friend's shawl and tied it tightly around the shoulder so that the person would stop bleeding so much.
I thought that this was my last time, my last day, that I'm getting shot today. We heard a bang, but we didn't react as if it was a gunshot. We thought it might have been doors or something else that was closed with a bang. Then shortly afterwards, there were 2 consecutive bangs and then they increased in frequency. And then we understood that it was a shooting. So my teacher shouted for us to close the doors, lock the doors, and I lay down on the floor. As instructed, we did that and hid under the beds in the middle.
Police locked down schools and a restaurant in the area. People were told to stay inside their homes.
At first, it didn't sound as bad as it was, but eventually my daughter started calling and asking if I had been nearby, and then I realized there were more than just a few injured people. So it was a terrible all day and all evening.
Hela dagen och hela kvällen.
Residents in Örebro are in shock. People laid flowers and lit candles outside the school a day after the incident in memory of the victims.
Devastating shock that happened yesterday, and Örebro is today a city in mourning. We woke up knowing that 11 people have been shot and killed today. It's such a sad day, and my thoughts are with everyone who has been affected by this horrendous act.
Sweden's King Carl XVI Gustaf, Queen Sylvia and Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson visited the site of the mass shooting. They placed flowers at a memorial set up near the Adult Education Centre. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen expressed her sympathy on social media platform X. She said, and I quote, "In this dark hour, we stand with the people of Sweden." School shootings are rare in Sweden. While there have been some incidents in the past, nothing has been as severe as this. In recent years, Sweden has faced a surge in gang-related violence, including shootings and bombings. This has led to a higher rate of gun violence in Sweden compared to other EU countries. But fatal school attacks are still very rare. According to the Swedish National Council for Crime Prevention, 10 people were killed in 7 school attacks between 2010 and 2022. It is worth noting here that Sweden has a relatively high rate of gun ownership compared to other European countries, mainly for hunting. But this is still much lower than in the United States. The recent gang violence has also highlighted a problem with illegal weapons. One of the most high-profile past incidents was in 2015 when a 21-year-old, motivated by racism, killed a teaching assistant and a student and injured 2 others. In 2017, a man drove a truck into shoppers in central Stockholm, killing 4 people. Now, after this devastating school attack in Örebro, Sweden must face the reality of gun violence and find a way to move forward. That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you next week with more raging issues. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Gunman signing off. Take care and stay safe.